How's it going, guys? Welcome to Audio Addiction. We have Rare Futures with us, and they can say their names and what they do in the band.
I'm Rich. I usually play drums and some vocals.
I'm Ari. I play guitar and some bass sometimes, and also play some vocals.
There you go.
My name's Matthew. I usually play the guitar and sometimes the keyboards and sing a little bit.
I'm Dave. I play bass.
Usually.
Usually. Anyway, guys, my first question is, how did you guys start out Rare Futures? How did you get your members?
Oh man, the very brief version is that I started as a side project many years ago, but then I sort of got distracted by doing some other bands, and it was a back burner thing for a while, and I self-released a few things, decided to change the band name. It used to be called Happy Body Slow Brain, which is a mouthful, and people were constantly fucking it up. Am I allowed to say fuck?
Yeah.
Fuck. People were constantly fucking it up, and it was, let's just say the Google ability wasn't very good.
Matt, do you remember any of the incorrect names people used to
The
say?
one that was the most consistent was Happy Body Slow Mind,
Yeah,
which I mean makes sense, I guess. Yeah. I don't know how a B word becomes an M word, but that's all good. That's why we're here right now. It's Rare Futures instead, so we don't have to deal with that. The long story short is that I got to a point where I felt like it needed a spiritual refresher. So my wife and I came up with a name that felt a little bit more up to date and felt like it had a little bit more of a sense of purpose to it, and like I mentioned, a little bit of spirituality to it too. It's kind of like, for me, the meaning of Rare Futures is that sort of that perfect kind of cosmic timing.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
a little bit of preparation, a little bit of maybe being in the right place at the right time, or chemistry with the right people. And so that's kind of how we find ourselves here right now, and that's how I slowly put the band together. Rich was first, and then Ari came in last year, and now Dave's the new guy.
There you go.
Yeah, and it's a good posse.
So you harp on him a lot.
Oh man, all the time.
Right now.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool, because
cozy with you.
I know, it's all right. It's all right. But that's crazy.
I'm getting
'cause-
cold and distant
Oh,
with you.
I'm sorry. Oh, dude.
Thank you. That's better.
Anyway, I mean, for me, like, that's how I found out about your band was Happy Body Slow Brain, and then now, now Future Tense, checking out Rare Futures, and I really enjoyed a few of the tracks. I know that you have a few stuff on YouTube on Rare Futures, so hopefully some new stuff's in the works, I'm sure, with the new lineup.
Yeah. There's a whole mess of projects that we have that we're just trying to sort out what's the first thing we're gonna focus our energy on.
Awesome. My next question, guys. Well, you're on tour with Envy on the Coast, but you guys tour a lot. I'm sure you've toured a lot. But what are some favorite venues local to you, or just venues in general that you've enjoyed over the past?
Right to the top of my head is the Rebel Lounge in Phoenix. We've been there 3 or 4 times maybe, and every time we're there, the crowds are so receptive and open to everything. They're so respectful of the music. And it's in a bar, but it doesn't become a bar with music in it. The music becomes the main thing every night. And every band that we've ever played with there has done some really interesting, unique, really cool stuff. Twin Ponies, we're homies with them. Check them out if you haven't heard them.
Awesome. Anyone else?
What came to mind for me was Webster Hall, which unfortunately is now under new ownership, and they're closed for a while. But the studio at Webster just felt kind of like a home base and a really great spot in New York City to sort of start to try and establish ourselves. And luckily, Happy Body being around for a while, we played there enough where we feel like we've got a little bit of something sort of started there, but that one kind of hurts. I feel like losing the studio at Webster or Webster Hall in general. Yeah, I'm trying to think of something else that comes to mind. A big one for me is San Francisco, Bottom of the Hill, because that's another just like important venue to my musical history. And we do pretty well there because that's my original hometown. So, yeah, those are a couple for me. Dave, you got something?
No, not off the top of my head right now.
All right. I'll put you on the spot a little bit later then. Okay, we'll come back. Rizinal, do you have anything?
Favorite venues?
What about was going to say, what about one of the worst? But no, you go.
No. We're not going to play that game. No. We're
Dave rocked a cornfield. Love that.
I do remember playing in a cornfield with you. Yeah.
I feel like there's just so many different directions you can go because you could have like a nostalgic connection to a venue, or you could have just had great shows there, or or sometimes it's a really bad story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or
cornfield
sometimes it's
show
as
is
simple as like there's been a couple venues I've played where the accommodations for the bands are really amazing, and sometimes it's the little things like that that make you feel a lot more comfortable and excited to do the show. And so there's just a lot of variables that make a great venue a great venue. Of course. Yeah.
My next question, guys, a heavily weighted question. What are some of your musical influences?
For Rare Futures, some of the main ones that I tend to call out are Soundgarden's a big one. Sade is another really big one. I feel like that kind of is a little bit of the extremes of the band represented right there. The mellow side and some of the riffitude with a little bit of the odd meter action for the musicians out there, babes.
We see.
But yeah, I don't know. Like, luckily, all of us listen to so much music. We all are so passionate about music. In general, I feel like there's no such thing as bad music in our circle. We can find something good to like about it. We can always get into deep discussions about it, and I feel like that's a really great thing for all the range of influences that kind of come into the band. I have a hard time kind of putting into a box, just like anyone else might say. I know that sounds a little cliche, but yeah, I guess the best version I can come up with is Soundgarden and Sade. And a little bit of this really obscure band from the 90s called Jellyfish. They're a big influence on me, too. Babes?
I feel like, I think everybody likes Tears for Fears. Also.
Oh, dude, yeah, I forgot about that. That's definitely in the DNA right there.
A little band you probably don't know called the Beatles.
Ooh.
The Beatles? They're called the Beatles. They're kind of new. Like, their early stuff is pretty good, but the later stuff.
Yo, did that guy? I heard that guy Saul McCartney from that band. He did a thing with Kanye West. Is that right?
Yeah. He did like a producing,
Producing
and like writing songs and stuff.
I heard it's gonna make his career.
I think so.
Is he on the rise or something?
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens with those guys. Man, what else? Yeah, there's so many good tunes, man. I think the band is cool because there's that rock side and the soulful side. So like, just bands that fall somewhere in that spectrum. But then, somebody like Dave, like the band that's on your hoodie, Sumac, they're an insanely talented band, and they're heavy as fuck, and they're brutal and really beautiful too. So there's whatever's in the spectrum is fair game for sure. You got any, Reginald?
I don't know. General thought. I think we all are in agreement that you can pull something valuable out of any kind of music, no matter what it is. And if the intention behind the music seems pure, whatever it is, heavy or soft or that's pretty much it. Yeah, you can find something inspiring in that, and even if just subconsciously, you can let it simmer in the back of your brain, and it kind of somehow seeps into what you create. Yep.
Nice. All right, guys, a follow-up to influences. What have you guys been jamming recently?
I've been stuck on the Anderson .Paak album.
Ooh, okay.
Am I saying that right?
Yes, you're right.
That one I've been stuck on for a while. I've been stuck on this other R&B trio still. They put out an album, I think, in early 2016 that's called King. Okay. That's kind of in that Sade realm where it's very mellow. It's good nighttime music, and I just keep on circling back to that. The new Solange album I've been listening to a lot. Kind of not a whole lot in like the rock realm, to be honest. Okay. Yeah, not really intentionally. Just those are the things that I've been gravitating. I think because we get heavy enough to scratch the itch for me. Okay. When I'm at home listening to things, I'm usually listening in a very different kind of headspace. Okay. I don't need to go sweat while I'm listening to music. I'd rather be chilling, Netflix and chilling. Yeah. Anyone want to add some riffing on that?
Just last week, this new record by this guy Marvin Pontiac came out. It's actually an alias for an alias. How do you say that word?
Alias.
There you go. Thank you. Somebody said if somebody mispronounces a word, don't make fun of them because they learned it from reading it.
That's
so.
true. Facts.
Hey, defending
Facts.
myself. So his other.
Yeah, can we add that?
So it's under the name Marvin Pontiac, and it's this jazz musician John Lurie who doesn't really play much in public anymore because he has this strange, bizarre recurring Lyme's disease that kind of keeps him hibernating at home. But so he put out a new record last week, and it's really interesting. It's almost all just acoustic guitars and vocals, and he kind of layers a really, really simple rhythm with another kind of polyrhythm, and they kind of build into this slow, meditative, weird, droning kind of thing. And then he has really strange, odd, whimsical lyrics over it about bears and diapers and weird stuff like that. It's really cool. I recommend anybody check it out. It's pretty cool.
Say the name one more time.
Marvin Pontiac. The new one's called The Asylum Tapes, featuring Marvin Pontiac. It's good stuff.
That's crazy.
What about you?
What about me? That was cool too because he invented that. Did you say that he invented a whole backstory? That's like a whole other crazy part of this story.
Wait, what is it?
I don't.
The first Marvin Pontiac record came out in the early 90s, I think, before you could do that much research online about who these people were. And he just, John Lurie claimed that he had this friend named Marvin who was in an insane asylum and that he helped him record an album. And so for years, nobody even knew it was John Lurie. Now people know because of the internet. But yeah, so it's supposedly a mental patient. Yeah, exactly. No more mystery.
Delusion is gone.
Man, what have I been listening to recently? I'll co-sign the Anderson .Paak and Solange and King. The No Worries record that Anderson .Paak
Nice,
did with
nice.
Knowledge,
Yes.
and the remix album just came out from that, which is very cool.
Dude, that who was it? The Radiohead-esque stuff.
Oh yeah, Moses Sumney's new
Moses
album
Sumney, that
is-
was sick.
It's
That was
very
really
very cool. Bad Not Good. I've been on them for a while. Julian Lodge, great guitar player. So much.
So many flaves.
Yeah. We had nice early drives. We had some like nice early morning music, which was nice.
Light music.
Yeah.
To
I
start the day.
I feel like I'm in a similar boat as Matt, where I haven't been listening to a lot of like rock music, which is fun because then you listen to stuff that's outside of what you do with the guitar or the bass, and then you kind of get to translate those vibes to your instrument. Back into riffs.
Yeah.
There we go. Next question, guys. A fun one. If you guys collectively could pick a song to cover, what song would it be?
Besides the song that we cover in the set,
Ooh.
because we already
Secret.
play a cover,
Yeah,
which is great.
That's tough, man.
What about the Bowie one that we talked about last year?
Oh.
We last year on tour you hold it. Yeah. No, you hold it, please. Last year on tour,
What's that, Reg?
We became obsessed with the Bowie record that had just come out, Black Star, and we kept talking about covering.
Girl Loves Me, which is a
good
great
one.
tune.
Yeah, really trippy song, really sick. Were there other ones floating around though?
We talked about a bunch. I don't remember though. Oh, Tears for Fears.
Did we talk about a Tears for Fears song?
I don't remember.
I think the Bowie tune was definitely the one we talked about the most seriously.
Survey says.
Say you do editing, right?
Yeah. I'm leaving it all in.
Leave it.
Oh man, I don't know. Cover.
Maybe it's one that you have to come back to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough one. We'd have to give some.
Oh, I got it. Home at Last by Steely Dan.
There it is. There it is.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
The first one we talked about.
Give me some of that.
Yeah.
Purdy shuffle, baby.
Yeah, we need some horns though, I think.
Yeah.
Can we just
That's
take a
about
minute
it.
to promote Steely Dan for those who haven't listened to Steely Dan? If you haven't heard Steely, can you hear me?
Do, do.
Mike?
Wait, give him both the mics just to make sure.
Can you pan these? Sure. Listen to Steely Dan. They're the greatest.
You know, it'd be really funny if I didn't pan it and there was just one voice.
Can you just zoom in on him?
Anyway, guys, next question. Another fun one. I gotta ask, of course, favorite food to eat.
As opposed to favorite food to look at, or favorite food to sit on.
Yeah. To paint.
Favorite food to paint.
Still life. Favorite still life.
Sushi for me. Sushi.
He's a sushi man. Okay.
The swoosh.
Enchiladas, babe. Homemade by the wife.
Enchiladas.
Enchiladas.
Favorite food.
I got one if you're still thinking. I think it's kind of a boring staple, but I don't think I could ever get tired of pizza. I don't eat it every day, but I think I could always go back to it. Classic.
Feel you on that?
Yeah.
Where do you fall on the spectrum of garbage to quality pizza?
Don't get me started. What do you mean? You mean coast
is gonna
versus
be-
coast?
No, not the coast versus coast battle. It's more just like, do you not even touch the garbage like hot and ready, or is
No,
it like
no.
pizza in any capacity is
I'm
tight?
gonna do some anti-buzz marketing. No Domino's, no Pizza Hut. Get that crap out of town. Take your Papa John's.
heard it first, yeah.
Yeah, it needs to be made by preferably an old Italian man.
That's true.
Who hasn't washed his hands all day. That's usually the best.
I don't know. That's debatable. That might be a health violation.
With hairy hands.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Want the hair baked into the crust, right?
Ooh, yeah. I love pizza too, but I'm a self-proclaimed pizza snob.
Ooh.
Because my hometown, I think, has the best pizza in the world.
Mm.
So, really? New Haven, Connecticut.
All of the internet's just like.
Shout out to
Now,
New
mine's-
Haven, Connecticut, for the greatest pizza. Have you been to New Haven?
I have not.
You should go.
All right,
Yeah.
as the local, what's the go-to New Haven spot?
My personal favorite is Modern A Pizza. We call it A Pizza in New
Modern A
Haven.
Pizza.
A Pizza. It's even when you go to the Wikipedia page for pizza, it's got New Haven style, and it's called A Pizza. I love Modern. Pepe's is the one that most people know.
This is getting deep. This is getting deep.
Bar
now.
is dope. Mashed potato pizza. Shout out to Mars Mashed Potato Pizza. Shout out to White Clam Pie
Really?
at Modern. Yeah.
White mashed potato pizza.
Yes, sir.
It's dope.
It is
Okay.
dope. So I
Okay.
do love New Haven pizza. I also love a great chocolate chip cookie. That's
Ooh.
like my shit. Yeah, I'm gonna go sweet on this one. Yeah,
We'll add that.
Yeah. Everything will be added in
Oh,
post.
yeah,
The
the
whole
audience.
interview will just be replaced with like a movie or something.
Also just breakfast in general.
Breakfast, that's a good call, dude. We're
This
a breakfast
band is
band.
a big breakfast fan. Yeah,
Eggs Benny.
eggs Benny.
breakfast for any time of the day. Yeah.
Exactly.
Breakfast or dinner is the best.
Breakfast and Steely Dan.
Breakfast and
That's
what a
the motto.
combination.
That's the Rare Futures motto.
Beautiful. All right, guys. Next question: if you could pick somebody to collaborate with, who would it be?
Personally or as a group?
Why don't we do personally and then collectively? I feel like that would be interesting.
This mic smells good.
It does.
Dave?
I'd always love to work with Bjork.
Okay.
Love that.
That's a good one.
Love that. You know what? I'm going to piggyback on Dave a little bit there, and I'm going to say that since we were already on the Sade tip, that would be sick to just have her fire her entire backing band.
Yeah.
We become the band, and Rare Futures is done. See you guys.
Miss Adu.
We
Miss Adu,
quit.
if you're out there, here's your new band.
Here we are, babe.
Love you.
Young Guns.
You can be. You can. Yeah. You're in. You're in, dude.
This is our hype man right here.
Yeah. Oh.
He's like our mighty boss tone guy.
Just need to get him a flannel suit.
Oh yeah, a zoot. We can get him a zoot suit.
Flannel zoot suit?
Well, it's a bit costly and it takes some time. We'll have to take measurements. Yeah. So anyway, back to Sade. Fire your band. That's my answer. I think Sade. It would just be so dope to like harmonize with her. To actually be the backing band would be fucking awesome. And those songs are just like they're just so spacious. They're so groovy. There's just a lot of really nice flavors in there that I think would be fun for us to try and like do justice. What you got, babe?
I'm gonna go. I mean, I would go with like a Kendrick Lamar or J.
Interesting.
Cole. Like,
Okay.
get a
Going
verse
that
on
route,
some Rare
I like
Features
that.
tunes. Q-Tip.
Good one.
Oh man, I don't know. So many. A bunch of producers. Anderson .Paak too. Yeah,
Ooh,
that'd be
that'd be-
fun.
that'd be really
little
fun.
drum battle with Rich and Anderson, and you know.
No. I don't really have a context in mind for this. I don't know what it would be, but I wish there was a way I could somehow collaborate with Van Dyke Parks. He's pretty old now,
Okay.
so don't know how much time's left. I hope he never hears it. That was very disrespectful. But he's just been a pretty important part of my musical life since I was young, and he was involved in a lot of things that I listened to for years that I never realized he was involved in, whether it's producing or arranging the strings. The way he arranges and can conduct an orchestra is incredible. It's like nobody else I've ever heard. It breathes and moves, and the way that he kind of pushes the rhythms through is just so interesting. And the other thing too that I really respect about him is he just refuses to do things normally. There's always a little weird twist to everything he does. Even if it's a tiny little subtle thing, it's always in there, and I love that.
Is there any one that collectively you guys feel like would suit your sound?
You know what? I feel like I fucked up earlier by not making Tears for Fears a very big deal, because they're like maybe the most important band to me. Even if Beatles tend to be the staple, but I feel like they're number 1.5 and number 1 is actually Tears for Fears. You know what I'm saying? So I think for me, I really think that we could do something with Tears for Fears. With Roland Kurt, that'd be
We also
so dope.
we don't do it that often anymore, but we cover one of Roland's tunes also. I don't think we've done it in a while.
Yeah,
We
a
did
song
on the
called "Kill Love," which was on. He did a solo record that came out right around September 11th. So it just, like most of the things that happened around then, there was just no focus on it. So it kind of just fell into obscurity. The label ended up folding and all that stuff, I think. So it's just this really dope kind of drum and bass electronic jungle album that he put out in the early 2000s that still stands up very well today, that not a whole lot of people know about. So yeah, there's a song called "Kill Love" on there that's kind of this drum and bass thing that we do from time to time. And he's actually commented on it too, which is really cool. So yeah, anyway, my answer would be, the first thing that came to mind was saxophone, so I'm going to stick with that. But there's probably a more realistic answer out there somewhere.
I second that for myself too. I feel like all kinds.
Ooh, yeah,
all
it would be
kinds.
sick to just rip
Yeah.
all kinds.
I
That's
just saw King Crimson 3 weeks ago, and I'm ashamed to say I don't remember the guy's name who was playing the brass, but he played. There were 7 or 8 different saxes, and he was incredible. It was one of the best things I've ever seen. The end. What about you?
If I could play an instrument, I would harp.
Harp.
There were some effects pedals on there. Yeah, not mouth harp or juice harp. It's like that twang twang twang. It's like you put it around. It's like an old, like we're sitting around the campfire cooking a can of beans, and I break out my juice harp and I'm like, "Hey y'all, it's been a rough day in the wagon." Twang twang twang. That's a juice harp. Exactly. A couple of oxen died. Yeah, couldn't ford that river. Yeah. Ugh, the worst.
I guess for me it would either be piano, like
Classic.
if I could play like Bill Evans, I'd be
Ooh,
so
yes.
happy. And the other random one, I don't know how far I would be able to get with it, but taiko drumming, just hitting
Oh,
those
yeah.
huge drums,
Yeah.
and especially in like a ceremonious way like that, I think would just be a lot of fun.
Do they have those at the Olympics and stuff where they do the maybe I'm imagining something. I'm trying to remember where I saw the last taiko drum group. Yeah.
I don't know, but
Sounds like the right concept.
All right, guys. Next question. In your opinion, who puts on a great live show?
Rare Futures.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Can I drop this mic?
Sure.
I won't. I won't.
just
drop
carefully, please.
it. Yeah. I'm just-
First band that came to mind that's always been an influence on me and how I try to approach bringing energy to the show is this band called RX Bandits that I've now been longtime friends with. They've just like ever since I was young and I was watching them come through the Bay Area. They just always blew my mind. They always left it all out there, sweat for their music, did not give a fuck about like their hair or looking cool or whatever. It was just so natural and so raw and so real. And so that they're still one of the biggest influences on me as far as like trying to give people something, but give people something that's coming from a real place, not put on. And yeah, just passionate. How about that? Playing with passion and fervor. There you go.
Can I ask you a question?
What you
Can I
got,
ask you a
babe?
question to expand? So Matt has been actually playing with RX Bandits off and on for the past year or two.
You're not supposed to mention it.
Oh,
Rich.
I mean,
I'm just supposed to quietly praise them.
I mean, there's a guy wearing a mask. Well, no, should I really not mention that?
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, because, I mean,
I was
I
gonna
make
s-
them feel awkward by fanning out on them face to face.
I was going to say, how has that been transitioning from growing up seeing them to being incorporated in it now, and being a part of that thing that you used to see?
It's been huge. I mean, they've had a huge influence on me in so many ways, from the live performance aspect to how I feel like they've been a gutsy band. Just like there's not many bands out there trying to talk about real stuff, whether that's politics or battles with addiction or whatever. And I think RX has always had really strong lyricism and a strong message, and that's something that's influenced me. As human beings, they're just like really sweet humans that have always been so accepting of their fan base and so approachable. So that's another thing that, like, even just as a kid going to their shows and like seeing how they interact and stuff, that's always stuck with me. And then making that crossing that threshold to actually playing in the band, it just has reinforced all that stuff. I mean, I have nothing but love for those dudes and so much deep respect for their music and for them as humans. And yeah, like I swear, every time I'm around them and I have a chance to try and like go there and say that stuff and make them feel weird about it, I do. Because it's all born out of I've had a few opportunities where I could have gone up to a musician that meant a lot to me, and I fucked up and I didn't. And I feel like sometimes those chances only happen once. And so now if I have an opportunity to tell someone that they mean a lot to me, and they've influenced my passion for music, then I'll, even if I have some egg on my face at the end of it, I'll try to find a nice tactful way to do it and read the situation and not make them feel too bad, but at least say my piece and be like, all right, now you can leave. And
I'm picturing you on
be
tour.
bummed at me.
Every single morning, you wake them up by sticking your head in their bunks and going, "Hey guys, remember, I love you."
Yeah, you're the best. You're beautiful. Yeah, so sorry for the long-winded response, but they're a huge influence on me in many, many ways. You guys want to chime in on that, though, like as far as influence there?
I guess 3 for me.
You asked about live shows.
Yeah, the live
shows
shows.
influences
3 of my favorite live shows I've seen. Bjork, still a huge fan. Rage Against the Machine.
Oh, dude, there's another band that
Yeah, I saw them. I think it was back in like 2000, 2001, and it was with At the Drive-In opening and stuff. And that was
a sick tour.
My dad took me to see Rage Against the Machine on my dad's birthday, so that was just like huge. And then another one for me, because this band was like the first time I heard. This isn't the first time I heard Dillinger Escape Plan. I really didn't like the music, and then I finally saw them live, and I was like, I understand this now, and just went deep down that rabbit hole. And yeah,
Man,
Heavy.
talk about a band that just like leaves it all out there, dude. Holy smokes, babes.
Smokies.
Live bands, live shows. I'm gonna go with. Saw Thundercat a bunch this year.
Oh, nice.
And his show was sick. He's definitely like, it feels like it's the entire Mahavishnu Orchestra, like coming in from 3 guys as opposed to 4 or 5. How many people were in that band? I don't know. 12.
70.
But him and Snarky Puppy as well are just bands that like
So good.
they, and all the offshoots thereof, I think they're born out of like the spirit of listening as opposed to like putting on a show. But I think you can do those things together.
Of course,
you can,
absolutely.
and I think it just requires more presence on stage. And so I feel like I'm constantly trying to take that inspiration to our show and say like, all right, we're listening and things are allowed to be a little different from night to night. That's a huge, I think, part of making the experience different for people listening to.
Of course,
like,
yeah.
So yeah, being present on stage, and a band like RX is the same way. It's like,
Yeah, they're a great example of that same spirit.
yeah,
Having a lot of range, music, and musicality, and also being engaged with with each other as a band, but also finding a way to invite the audience into it as well and make it feel organic and like there's this one energy that's being shared, which is a very difficult thing to do.
Of course.
also one of my favorite shows of all time, a mind-altering show for me. Like that Rage tour, which was the Battle of Los Angeles tour, which I also saw.
I think we were all lucky
Yeah.
enough to see them on
Yeah.
that tour.
Yeah.
1999?
Yeah, that was insane. But
You're fired, Richard.
but seeing the Roots also as a kid was like,
nice.
that blew my mind, because it was like the distinctions of like hip hop and rap and rock, they just went all out the window, and you were like, this is a loud ass band, and it felt like a rock show, and they're still, I think, one of the greatest bands in the world.
I would agree.
I'm going to keep this short because this was actually just recent, maybe 3 weeks ago. I said a little while ago I saw King Crimson recently, and it has the night I saw that, it became the best thing I've ever seen. Better than any concert, movie, book, meal. I don't know. It was my favorite thing I've ever experienced. And I'll keep it brief in saying that the kind of vibe, like you were describing about RX Bandits or maybe Dillinger or something, where it's all just about the raw realness, the chaos of it. I feel like if that's one end of the spectrum, King Crimson is almost on the other end. And I think appreciating both are essential, I think, because they're just very different approaches, all to just different ways to present music to people. And King Crimson is like, I can already feel myself going long. So hold on, let me reel this in.
You're gonna reel
it was at the Beacon Theater, and it was almost as if you're going to see a piece of fine art in a museum. You know, it's a sit down show. They don't allow any photos or video recording. Wow. I didn't see a single phone out the entire time. Or well, I did, and then the guy got kicked out, which was awesome. And it's just they present to you this thing, and it is unlike anything I've ever heard. They had 3 drummers. The setup was 3 drummers on the front of the stage, 5 other musicians behind them. It was
drummers in the front.
Yeah, and it was
that's powerful.
Incredible. But it's not whatever you imagine that would be. 3 drummers. It wasn't that at all. It was incredible. I don't know. I can't even say more. I'm going to go on for an hour. It was the best thing I've ever seen. They played from. See, I'm still going. I'm done. I'm done. King Crimson. The end. I'm done.
Next question, guys. If you guys could compile a dream tour, who'd be on it? I feel like each one of you should pick a band. Yeah, I was gonna say
Artists currently alive or
live, dead. I feel like each one of you should pick one, and that would be the tour.
Yeah, that would be
All right. Oh, man. I'm just going to use one of my earlier answers because I think that in reality, hopefully the translation would work. I think that if Soundgarden was still a thing, that would have been such a rad band to tour with, and like and a dope audience to play for, where I think they'd be really receptive to what we do because we share some similar qualities, but we kind of go a few places maybe that they don't. So I feel like that would have been a really neat pair. and we would have maybe won over some people, hopefully, but that's mine.
For me, Miles Davis Quintet, Bitches Brew era.
Dude. Heavy.
Yeah.
So basically, you want them to mop the floor with us, Dave.
with their one song set.
Their one song Odyssey.
Yeah. The first band that comes to mind on kind of a, I guess, I don't know if it's realistic because I'm not sure of the future of this band is Mute Math.
That's
Who's gone
Beautiful
through
answer.
some changes recently with this last tour. But they've always been a band, again, another insane live band.
Yes.
With or without the original lineup. But they've always been a band that was like, they had the energy, they had the focus, they had the execution, all of it. So very inspiring live band as well.
Great answer, dude. Love that.
This
Love
isn't
it.
very practical, but I feel like it would just be fun to tour with somebody that has a giant production like Guar or Weird Al or something like that, to be able to see the
okay.
madness backstage. And
Okay.
also, those shows are just so fun. I think Weird Al might have been my first concert when I was like 13 or something like that. Still my biggest
Does not matter.
influences.
What was the album he was rocking at that time?
I think Running with Scissors.
What was on there?
That was a
Oh,
good one.
that had like Gangster's Paradise or
No, that was-
Amish Paradise. Excuse me.
That was Bad Hair Day, 96.
Rich is a real fan. Loving this.
Did you ever see the Brian Posehn stand-up when he talks about Weird Al?
I don't know.
He wants to, like, if he has a kid, he wants to show him all the Weird Al stuff first. So when he gets introduced to, like,
Dude, there were...
it's eat it, man. It's not beat it. Like when he's meeting his friends. And
That
stuff.
happened to me. There were so many Weird Al songs. I heard Amish Paradise before Gangster's Paradise. Had no idea it was a parody.
You're talking about Rich's reality right now.
Yeah.
They love that.
Brian Posehn, your dad.
I'm still hearing songs now that I didn't realize Weird Al was parodying. Every once in a
Shut
while,
up,
I don't
dude.
remember.
No
anyone's-
way.
Yeah, every once in a while, yeah, I'll hear a song in a supermarket and I'll be like, "Why are they playing Weird Al? Oh, why did they change the lyrics?"
Why is Weird Al not singing?
And also, Weird Al is I think this is true. He's one of the top 3 accordion players in the world. I think he's incredible.
He is,
He's
dude.
legit.
His band is always really
Yeah.
killer too.
Yeah,
He deserves a lot of credit, like for being really dope under the radar, musically.
yeah. He's had the same band for 30 years or something like that.
Really, it's been the same band.
Same dudes.
That's sick too.
I don't know why I know this much about Weird Al.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We're gonna run this down, make sure it's all
It's gonna
good.
be a side interview. It's just him proving everything.
Yeah, cut away to hashtag fake news.
How much he was correct.
Yeah. No, just underneath when he says something wrong, right, wrong.
I love these guys.
This guy sucks.
I'm in a band with them. Anyway, next question, guys. If you could only listen to one album for a month straight, what album would it be? Just 30 days. Only that album.
Do you mean like we can't turn it off? Or do you mean it's the only music we're allowed to listen to?
Allowed to listen to.
Okay.
Done that with records.
Yeah, I think sometimes when I get obsessed with a certain thing that's come out, sometimes it ends up kind of being that way.
Like I just did it with the Sumac record, What One Becomes.
Stuck on it.
Yeah, another record I got stuck on for about like 6 months, where I was just always listening to Gaza, No Absolutes in Human Suffering.
Is that another heavy one?
Really heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god.
No, they're a folk
My
group.
man loves riffing. My man loves riffing. I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but I think my the Desert Island album for me would be Seeds of Love by Tears for Fears. It's a really like dense listen that's got a lot of variety, so I think I could live with that for a while. And Phil Collins opens it on drums, babe.
Oh yeah.
Hotness.
Oh gosh. Speaking of Rage Against the Machine, I remember when I first heard their self-titled album, I was like, "Oh my god!" This was back when music came on
And back on
disc.
CDs.
It was a disc about this big. You put it in a Discman.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
They look kind of like a laser disc, but
But smaller, yeah, but smaller.
Okay.
It's weird.
Is
It's
it like
just-
the same like light from Star Wars where it just like destroyed villages?
I think so, yeah. It's like I'm
Just
not
making sure.
sure.
I need to fact check it.
Alderaan. But I think an album that I never ever get tired of, it always like centers me, is Speak No Evil by Wayne Shorter,
Okay.
which is like my favorite jazz album of all time. It's great.
I think I would either do Brian Wilson's Smile or either of the later two D'Angelo records, Voodoo or Black Messiah. Yeah, I think I could do any of those on repeat, nonstop. Even if you force me to, 24 hours a day, I think I'd be fine with it. I think it would be okay.
There we go. Lastly, guys, tell them about Rare Futures, where they can find you at, and anything coming up in the next couple months.
Well, I'll start by saying right now, today, you can find us at Outpost. We are in beautiful Asbury Park, New Jersey, at this great facility. Facility makes it sound a little clinical, and it is not clinical in here at all. It's very nice. We are relaxing.
We're gonna reel back that word. We're gonna choose a different one.
We are.
In the padded room right now.
You know, we're chilling out, we're maxing, we're relaxing, all cooling.
It's beautiful.
Didn't shoot any b-ball, but
Planning
they've
on
got-
it. Planning on
They've
it.
got they got everything here. They got popcorn and kale chips and coffee and like what else? A clean bathroom, toothpaste.
See, it's the
Face
little
wash.
things, babe. It's
This
the little things
is-
on tour. No, on a serious note, we do really appreciate Outpost having us, just because like it really is nice to just have a little bit of a respite, break up the routine of what the normal tour situation can be. They've got a lot of little snackies and things that are also just like treats that keep the morale up and stuff. So we're thankful to be here.
What I say right before we started too.
What's that?
I was asking if you remembered what I said right before we started too. That I think this is the most relaxed we've ever been during the day on a tour. I think just.
And that's the facts, babe. But as far as like what's coming up for Rare Futures, you can find us at rarefuturesmusic.com. That's got everything you could ever possibly want to know or not want to know about the band. We're on all those social media things. Go follow us, Rare Futures. And then we have coming up, we're going to be releasing more live videos from this series that we did, that we shot earlier this year, that's called Live from the Cadet Academy. And that also is kind of paired with a live album that we're going to be putting out probably March, April. So that's the next thing on the horizon, but we're going to be working on some new material, and so there's like, we're kind of a few steps ahead of the game right now, babies. So yeah, stick with us, go follow us on all that social media fun stuff. We're a wacky bunch,
It's kind of
as you can tell.
It's I think it's worth mentioning too that all of us intentionally stay involved in many different forms of music with many different people.
Oh yeah, that's
And
a great
so-
call, Reg.
Yeah.
Geez, let's just go down the line. Dave plays in a dope band called Chuggernaut that you should check out. Ari has a project called Model Decoy. He also has another band with a couple of the guys that used to be in the band we're on tour with right now. The band that we're on tour with is called Enemy on the Coast. Ari's band with a couple of those former members is called Heavy English. Rich plays drums in a really awesome band called Side Saddle. I hope you have a pen and paper for all this, people.
Just like kind of yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we really want to cultivate a community where we all obviously love music in many capacities. So naturally, we all like to be playing with as many people as possible. And so yeah, if you feel so inclined, people of the world out there, go search out all these projects and look up the family tree, because the branches extend very far. Gavin Castleton, we collaborated with him earlier this year for a thing called Future Castle. So check out Gavin's music. Gavin plays in the Deer Hunter, which you may have heard of before. Yeah, I'm trying to think of any other ones that are really important for us to shout out that just don't get enough love right now.
I'll also just add that some of these projects kind of fall under an official umbrella of Cerebral Music Group, which is also on the horizon for us in the coming years. It is our own collective label community. So it's kind of it's setting this kind of groundwork for us. We've been inspired by other kind of totally independent labels in an era where, like, you know, we feel like that's the thing. That's what we got to do. We gotta really, like, make our own ship and then sail it around the musical globe. So Cerebral Music Group. Look out for more of that fun stuff in the years.
We're coming for you, 2018, baby.
2018 CMG.
There we go.
Agreed.
Anyway, go check out all of those things. Cerebral, Rare Futures, all of their other bands, side projects, things of that nature. All links will be in the description. Go give them a follow, a like, subscribe, what have you.
I have a request too.
Yes.
This is asking a lot, so you
Okay.
could just cut this out. Don't cut it out. Leave it in. Can one of us do this and you do a ding sound effect and have a logo pop in? That's easy to do, right?
Yeah, I
You
can do
got
it.
time.
I
You got
got it.
time.
I
Yeah,
got
go for it.
time.
Go for
Yeah.
it.
Plenty of time.
Like the quick scroll where they're like, and we're sponsored by these things.
And it just, just have like a